Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Monday, August the 21st. I'm Rafi Boyajan, currency analyst at xm.com, and we're going to be looking at what's happening in the currency markets today. So the dollar fell to 4 month lows against the yen on Friday, following continued turmoil in the White House regarding some more resignations. It did rebound soon after from strong US data, but it has dropped back again this morning. We still, of course, have tensions over North Korea as well. Gold it did reach 9 month highs on Fridays. It has eased back a little bit this morning, but it is finding support from ongoing risk aversion regarding both what's happening in the White House and North Korea, as well as terrorist attacks we had last week in Spain. The focus this week will be on the Jackson Hole Symposium in the United States, where Fed Chair Janet Yellen and ECB President Mario Draghi are both due to give speeches there. The pound is steady ahead of a number of Brexit position papers which are due to be published by the UK government this week, where we will see more details about the government's post-Brexit plans. And in commodities, oil, it did jump to 1 week highs yesterday. It's down a little bit this morning. We did see a surprise drop in US rig counts on Friday. Let's have a closer look now at the US dollar. We can see in orange here the dollar yen. It had fallen to 4 months lows of 108.58 before jumping higher on the back of the University of Michigan preliminary consumer confidence index, which beat expectations in August. Although dollar yen it appears to be testing the 109 level once again, the dollar index is doing a little bit better. It's currently trading around 93.50. So on Friday we saw the resignation, not resignation, the sacking rather of Stephen Bannon. He was President Trump's chief economic strategist. He was known for his nationalist views, and that could explain why he was sacked, given the protests we had in Virginia, the extremist that involved far-right movements, and it could possibly signal some bit more calm in the White House, because there were rumors that Stephen Bannon wasn't well liked in the Republican Party. Although following Trump's strong attacks on senior Republican senators in recent days, there are doubts about even if we do see a clear strategy evolving after Bannon's exit, whether or not Trump will be able to see through his economic agenda. So that is, of course, worrying the markets, and is one of the reasons why, despite Bannon's exit, US stock markets fell further on Friday. So let's have a look at today's main agenda, which will be Jackson Hole Symposium in Wyoming. This is due to take place between August 24-26. We're going to see both Fed Chair Janet Yellen and ECB President Mario Draghi speaking on Friday, although neither are likely to make any big speeches. There had been speculation that Mario Draghi would use the event to signal policy direction, like he had done back in 2014, where he signaled the ECB's stimulus program, which was launched months later. ECB sources have said that Mario Draghi will not be making any such speeches this time round, and it's also unlikely whether Yellen will say anything more about Fed policy. We already heard quite a bit from the Fed's recent meeting minutes, where many policymakers expressed doubts about soft inflation, and of course the focus for the Fed now is the balance sheet reduction that's due to be announced at the September policy meeting. But nevertheless, given that we're not going to have much other major economic data this week, and given the summer lull in the markets, anything we hear from both central bank leaders will would possibly lead to a bit of a reaction in currency markets. Let's move on to gold prices now, because gold broke about 1,300 level on Friday. That was the first time it did that since the day after the US presidential election. Gold hit a 9-month high, 1,300.80. It has dropped back, although since during Asian trading it has recouped some of those losses to climb to around 1,288. So there's a number of factors that should support gold this week. We've got the military drill between the US and South Korea that's taking place in South Korea. In previous years, we had seen North Korea carrying out missile strikes in protest against those military exercises. And given the recent tension, North Korea remains a highly volatile factor here, so markets are being wary. Also, the ongoing troubles in the White House are worrying financial markets. We've seen large outflows of funds away from US equities in the past week, signaling loss of investor confidence in Trump's ability to implement the much promised tax reforms. Let's have a quick look at European currencies now. The euro has been pretty much steady around $1.1750. It's the 1.18 handle is proving a strong resistance now for euro dollar. We are going to hear Draghi talk in Germany as well before he heads off to Jackson Hole. So two major speeches this week by Draghi that could potentially help the euro get some direction. We're also going to have the flash PMIs out of the eurozone, but the pound, on the other hand, is struggling. It fell both against the euro and the dollar for the third straight week last week. Although it is a bit steadier this morning, we're going to see a number of Brexit position papers being made available by the UK government, which should reveal more about the UK's plans on what kind of relationship it wants with the EU after Brexit. Although this isn't really helping the pound, because the EU is insisting that the UK first should settle the rights of EU citizens living in the UK and size of the Brexit divorce bill before moving on to other matters such as trade in those negotiations. And of course, we are seeing a weakening outlook for the UK economy, so that could potentially weigh on the pound for the rest of this week. It follows mixed retail sales numbers last week that we saw on Thursday. Pound cable is currently trading at around 1.2867. Let's look at oil prices now, because we did see the biggest jump in oil prices since November. Both Brent crude and WTI rose more than 3% to 1-week highs. We saw a drop in the US rig count from 768 to 763 last week. That's the Baker Hughes active rig counts in the United States. That could potentially signal a tightening market for producers, and the combination of signs of stronger demand and the possibility of disruption to Venezuelan output, given the political situation there, has also helped prices. Although overall the rising US output, rising US production is weighing on the market. But the loonie has benefited from that jump. We can see the loonie did hit a 2-week high, 1.2553 last week. We also saw Canadian inflation rising slightly in July, so that's helped the loonie recoup some of its recent losses against the greenback. Looking at the economic calendar this week, it's going to be a very quiet day, so the focus will be on the events coming in the days ahead. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.